Nyama, bewa, kabeda, ngwani, kansimagali bambaliba, olimbitsa tubi.
God damn. Now that's a ham sandwich. Thank you, Yahawashi, that he did not make me to be a Hamite, man. Dirty ham sandwich. That's a ham sandwich. That ain't no Israelite. That's a ham sandwich. A damn Hamite. Let me just take a look at the comments. Corona reloading. Corona sickening. Which country delicacy be this? Nah. Ratatouille original recipe. That's unholy, and definitely it is. That is unholy. That is unlawful. Without a doubt. Wow. The guy put a meme or a gift. A rat doing a rat or a mouse in a rat trap. Got Mickey Mouse here, scared to death. Yeah, man, but shouldn't be doing this, man. And this is a Hamite. That's the spirit of Ham. You know, without a doubt, that's the spirit of Ham. And this is off. And you have our people there associating themselves with the Hamites. You have a lot of our people there involved in Pan-Africanism. They want to be pharaohs. They want to be Egyptian. A lot of our people are caught up into Egyptology and Kemet. When really you're an Israelite and you shouldn't want to be like a Hamite. Anyways, I just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakah HaChodash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that do teach you all and that have taught me this truth. To you I say shalom, and shalom unto the hopeful elect. Kwam Yasha Allah and Abad Babal. You know, I thought of a lot of scriptures. One scripture that comes to mind is Hebrews the 11th chapter and the 24th verse, going into the faith of Masha, which is Moses. When he came to years, man, he refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. You know, he didn't want to rejoice and live in pleasure among them Hamites, man. He chose to suffer with his own people and to serve Yahawah Shem Yahawashi. And we know Moses, man, he wasn't eating abominable foods, man. Right? You know, he wasn't eating no rats. He wasn't eating no mice. And I'll say this too. You have our people over there mingled amongst the Hamites being wicked too, eating abominable foods. But you shouldn't want to be like those Hamites, man. Thank the Lord that he made your spirit to be an Israelite spirit. A righteous spirit, man. But man, for the most part, this is off. Eating a mouse kebab. God damn. Right? You know, he has the good stuff on his plate. He has the greens and then he has the fufu or whatever. I believe that's made out of cassava or some type of corn. You know, those things are good to eat. But then he eats the damn mouse, man. Or mice. That's disgusting, man. That's off. Anyway, I'm going to start off with this precept. This is Exodus chapter 22. And I'm going to start verse 21. Thou shalt neither vex a stranger nor oppress him, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. And that's true. We were strangers in the land of Egypt. So we were foreigners, man. We weren't like them Egyptians. We were different. We were just living among them. And we had our own society. That's when Joseph gained favor with the Pharaoh of that time. And that allowed the Israelites to come in, the rest of his brothers and his family. And then Israel grew in number while being in Egypt. And they waxed very, very strong. But yes, we're not supposed to vex a stranger. I believe the word stranger here is gar. And that's talking about your own people. That's right, strangers, right? Stranger, gar. It's talking about us. Right? It says a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights, of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. It's because you do have Israelite foreigners that are new to this, that are new to their heritage. You know, at one point they didn't know who they are, and they were among these nations, and now they're coming among you. Right? That you know, what do I mean by that? You knowing your nationality, so they're new to this. Now they're coming into it. Right? For the most part. So it says, of foreigners in Israel, though conceded rights. So you have to remember, you know, we were once strangers in Egypt, and we were foreign to that land and to the way how it functioned over there, and we had to adapt to it. So when you have an Israelite foreigner, especially when they come into this truth, you know, you have to treat them with respect. You have to remember they have rights too, right? And you can't take advantage of them. So, yeah, stranger again, gar, right? Temporary inhabitant, a newcomer lacking inherited rights. So we were, at one point, we were in Egypt, but that doesn't mean we were Egyptians. So we're different. So this proves that we're not Hamites, man. Right? So you're not supposed to subscribe to being a Hamite. Now, let me get another precept. Let's go into the next chapter. This is Exodus chapter 23, verse 9. It says, also, thou shalt not oppress a stranger, for ye know the heart of a stranger, seeing ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Remember, we were oppressed in Egypt too. You know, why would you want to do that to another fellow Israelite? You know, a stranger who lacked inherited rights, right? You know, who's coming into this thing. Because that's really, in this day and age, that's who it really applies to, you know, the Israelite foreigners that are coming back. You know, but yeah, you shouldn't want to oppress your own people. And this also proves that we're not Hamites as well. All right, next precept. This is going to be in Leviticus chapter 18, verse 21, 18 and 21 here. Now I'm just going to go into how Ham is very wicked. And we shouldn't be going into the ways of the heathen, especially Ham. And what did Ham do back then? You know, the ancient Hamites, they used to pass their kids through the fire. So, you know, we're not supposed to learn the ways of the heathen, and we're not supposed to act like them. We're not supposed to eat like them, and we're not supposed to worship their gods. So it says here, Leviticus chapter 18, verse 21, and thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy power. I am Yahawah. And that's what them ancient Hamites did. You know, them Canaanites, right, and Jebusites. Yeah, they were all into child sacrifice, sacrificing people and passing them through the fire. And our people are heavy into that today. You know, a lot of our people that get up on a high level, that have so-called made it in this society, who get big contracts and deals, who have a lot of accolades, they have sold out and they have sacrificed things to get on a high level. You know, so sacrificing a loved one, a child, right? Especially a child, your parents, or just relatives, or whoever it may be. That's what our people are doing. But in this particular verse, it's talking about the seed, which is your children. Right? So you're not supposed to do that. But our people, they're heavily into child sacrifice. You know, child sacrifice and being wicked. Now, let me read in the NLT. Do not permit any of your children to be offered as a sacrifice to Molech, for you must not bring shame on the name of your power. I am Yahawah. That's right. So, yeah, that brings shame onto the name of Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawashi. Because remember, you made a contract with the Heavenly Father. Going back to Exodus 24. You made a contract. And remember, he chose you. I believe that goes into Amos, the 3rd chapter. Let me get that first. Because the Lord chose you out of all the other nations. So it says here, Amos chapter 3, verse 1. Hear this word that Yahawah has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. That's right. So he took you out of the land of Egypt. So that means you weren't meant to stay there and be among the Egyptians, the Hamites. So the Lord separated you. But you have people, our people today, especially because they're ignorant and because they're wicked, they want to associate themselves with the Hamites, man. They're trying to go back to Africa. Africa isn't really the motherland, man. The motherland of us all is really Israel. Right? They're going back to Africa to find their roots. Yes, you live there for a period of time, but that's not your home. Right? Right? But yeah, we're not supposed to aspire to be Egyptian. We're not supposed to aspire to be pharaohs. So this is just more proof of that. So it says, which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. That's right. So he knows us, and he will punish us for all our iniquities. And what is iniquity? Iniquity is you being in the condition without having the law. Right? Okay. So when we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments, we get punished for it. And that's why, Israel, you're punished to this very day. That's why you're cursed. Amen. If you want to look at the curses that you're under, go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, and start from the 15th verse on down. All those curses are on you if you're an Israelite. And that's for disobeying Yahawashi. So we're cursed. Right? So you ain't supposed to be eating mice. You definitely ain't supposed to be eating seafood either. That's a spirit. Live seafood and all this stuff going into what the nations do, especially Moab. Hey, Moab eats rats and mice too, man. And good, the damn thing bit her because she ain't supposed to be eating that, you know? That's the spirit, man. I didn't even want to go on this, but that's the spirit. But you definitely ain't supposed to be eating a mouse kebab, man. Okay? That's for Ham. God damn. And thank you, Yahawashi. He didn't create me to be a Hamite, man. All praises. Verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed? There you go. All right? So the Lord chose you. He brought you out of the land of Egypt, and he knows you. Let me get this. The mother of... Let me see here. See if I can find a precept. Hold on. Okay, here we go. It's Jerusalem. So this shows that Jerusalem, which is in Israel, is really the motherland of us all. This is where we come from. It ain't Africa. So this is Galatians chapter, I'm going to start at verse 25. Galatians chapter 4, verse 25. For this Agar is Mount Sinai in Arabia, and answereth to Jerusalem, which now is and is in bondage with her children. But Jerusalem, which is above, is free, which is the mother of us all. Okay? So yes, that's where we come from. We come from the motherland, which is in Israel, which is Jerusalem, okay? So we come from that place. If you're an Israelite. So you ain't no Hamite. The motherland is in Africa. And that's what our people push over here, especially the ones of you Israelites that have descended from slaves, right? Going into the southern kingdom, especially, that was brought over here to the Western world, to the Western hemisphere. A lot of you Benjamites, you people from the Caribbean, you tribes from the Caribbean, you say you're from the motherland too, which is Africa. That's a lie. You got a lot of you Judites over there, you American so-called blacks, saying that the motherland is Africa. That's off, man. No, you're an Israelite. And how do you know you're an Israelite? Well, because the curses are on you. Go read Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter and the 15th verse on down. if those curses are on you, and especially your family, and you're an Israelite, man. All right, so let me go to Hebrews 11 and 24, going into the faith of Moses. You know, Moses didn't want to be a Hamite. And Moses was living good back then, man. He was a prince under Pharaoh and under Pharaoh's daughter, man. He was grafted in. They took him in, okay? And he didn't want to be a Hamite. So even if these Hamites, man, if they accept you and they want you to be a part of them, you shouldn't aspire. You shouldn't want to. All right, so here we go. This is a mouse kebab. I'm still thinking about that, man. That's disgusting. Ham sandwich. So this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 23. Point will be made in verse 24. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child. They knew he was special. They knew he was going to do great things for Yahawashi, and the Spirit was on them to hide them from the king's commandment, because they were killing the newborn baby boys. And you can go and read that in Exodus, the first chapter, which Egypt, back then in ancient Egypt, they practiced something called eugenics, which is genocide. And genocide starts with you eliminating the men, because the men carry the seed. So that's what they were doing here. That's what it's talking about, the king's commandment. It's talking about eugenics, genocide. So it says, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Yeah. So, and you know, they were living good. You know, that's royalty. I believe it said that, I think it was Ramses II, he was living so good that he never experienced a headache. Never. I remember reading that somewhere in a book. He was living so good, he was so pampered, that he never once experienced a headache. Okay? So Moses, he would have lived good. He would have lived in opulence, right? If he took on the name of Pharaoh, right? So he didn't even want to be around them royal Hamites. These are royal Hamites too. Verse 25, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. True. Pleasures of sin for a season, because he's going to be going off doing wickedness. And you know what? Probably, man, if he was among them, you know what? I'll say this. If the Spirit wasn't on him, if he wasn't set up to be righteous, you know what? He'd be eating some abominable foods too. I'll just say that. But the Spirit was on him when he saw all of this. He's like, nah, I don't want to be around them Hamites, so I'm not going to eat no damn mouse kebabs. These abominable foods, man. Participate in their orgies and their wickedness, right? Verse 26, esteeming the reproach of Yahawashi greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. So I read in the NLT, he thought it was better to suffer for the sake of Yahawashi than to own the treasures of Egypt, for he was looking ahead to his great reward. That's right, his great reward is going to come in the kingdom ultimately. Right? So he chose to suffer rather than to experience pleasures and treasures in Egypt. So he didn't want to be an Egyptologist. He didn't want to be an Egyptian. And that's what our people are trying to do, man. They're trying to be like them pharaohs. Kind of reminds me of this underground rap group called Army of the Pharaohs, man. And it's Jake from the hood coming together and rapping. They're calling themselves pharaohs, man. Those guys are bugged out. AOTP. Bugged out, man. Bugged out rappers, yo. And a lot of them rappers, man, you know, they influence the young generation to get involved with Egyptology and Kemet. Which, when you go into Egyptology, who founded Egyptology was a so-called white man. You know, you can Google that yourself. I did the research. You know, he went and digged up the artifacts, and then he came up with Egyptology. And you niggas, you're following that shit. Anyways, verse 27, by faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. And who's invisible? The invisible one is Yahawah, Yahawashi. So he feared Yahawah more than he feared the king. That's right, and that's why it says in the very beginning, it says here, now faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And that's why they call him the invisible one. And it takes faith for you to see Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi. Because Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi ain't physically here with us right now. We can't see him. But he is here in his word. And you have to have faith to see it. Especially when you open up this book, you envision it in your mind, man. You see, Moses had the vision. Okay? Moses had the vision. And that's why he stuck with his culture, his traditions, and with who he is, man. That's why he stuck it out to serve Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi. You see, our people, they don't have faith, and that's why they're chasing all these things. Because they can't see. They can't see. They don't have the eye salve. And that's why they're lost, man. But that's okay, man. You're going to get in the kingdom, and you're going to come back, and you're going to be good. Right? You're going to be good. All right, so this is 2 Kings chapter 16, verse 3. I'm going to get this one. 2 Kings chapter 16, verse 3. And it says, actually, I'll start at verse 2. I'll start at verse 1. In the 7th year of Pekah, the son of Remelah, Azah, the son of Jotham, king of Judah, began to reign. 20 years old was Azah when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi, his power, like David his father. So he was a wicked king, man, a degenerate. You had a lot of wicked kings among Israel, man. A lot of wicked kings. And them wicked kings are back, man. You know, and they're ruling. And they're being wicked, man. I wouldn't be surprised some of them wicked kings are in the Sakari, in these different camps, teaching wickedness, man. But it doesn't matter. You know, I don't know that, but I'm just speculating. Because there's a lot of division in this truth, man. There's a lot of division in this truth. There's a lot of factions, man. Go look up the word faction. There's a lot of individuals, man, with ulterior motives, and they're trying to take away Yahawashi's governance. You know, taking away Yahawashi's authority over the nation of Israel by not teaching the right things. Yeah, man. So anyways, verse 3, but he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire. Yeah, that's right. Child sacrifice, man. He went into the ways of them Hamites. Ancient Hamites, man. Canaanites too. They did that. According to the abominations of the heathen, whom Yahawah cast out from before the children of Israel. Yes, and I believe that's found in the book of Leviticus, because it specifically said that the Lord Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahawashi spewed out the nations that were in that land. Them Canaanites. Let me get that. Spew. So this is Leviticus chapter 18, verse 27. I think the point will be made in verse 28. It says, for all these abominations have the men of the land done, which were before you, and the land is defiled, that the land spew not you out also when ye defile it, as it spewed out the nations that were before you. There you go. That's right. And that's why we took the land of Canaan, because why? Those Canaanites were doing wicked things. So I'll read in the NLT. It says, all these detestable activities are practiced by the people of the land where I'm taking you. And this is how the land has become defiled. So do not defile the land and give it a reason to vomit you out, as it will vomit out the people who live there now. Yes. And also the Lord put the Spirit on the earth. You know, if you do wickedness on the earth itself will reject you. right? So that's all set up by Yahawashi. So really, that's why the Lord, he gave you the law, statutes, and commandments. He gave you the laws. He gave you a dietary law. He gave you the laws on marriage, sex, how to keep the land, and etc. So the earth doesn't reject you. And now we're coming to find out, the earth is really rejecting the so-called white man and really these other nations too. 2nd Esdras chapter 6 verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So really, Jake, you were set up to be a righteous custodian over the planet Earth. That's why you're given the law, statutes, and commandments. And you're going to get that back, man. You're going to get that back. So let's go back to 2 Kings 16. And it says, but he walked in the way of the kings of Yashar'Allah, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places and on the hills and under every green tree. There you go. He was a wicked nigga, man. Wicked nigga. And some of them wicked niggas are back here today, man. Them kings. Okay? Yeah, wicked. You're going to be put to death. Anyways, man. So this is Judges chapter 3. Judges the 3rd chapter and the 5th verse. I'm going to start there. Judges chapter 3 verse. You know what? I'll start at the 3rd verse. It says, namely 5 lords of the Philistines and all the Canaanites and the Sidonians and the Hivites that dwelt in the Mount Lebanon, from Mount Balhermon unto the entering in of Hamath. And they were to prove Israel by them to know whether they would hearken unto the commandments of Yahawah, which he commanded their fathers by the hand of Moses. So let me read an NLT. These people were left to test the Israelites to see whether they would obey the commands the Heavenly Father had given to their ancestors through Moses. So, these nations, they're around you to really test you. They're not around here to be your friends, man. They're really set up to test you. Right? They're really set up to keep you separate. If you're spiritual, you'll see that. When you're around these nations, they're not here to be your friends. They're really to test you. To test if you really have faith in Yahawashi. So you're not really supposed to mingle with them and get all buddy and do what they do. It's all a test, man. But Jake, they want to get together and be chummy and just be equal, man. No, they're here to test you. All right, so it's a test, especially living in America because it's a melting pot. That's a test. You being an Israelite and serving the Lord in this wicked place, that's all a test, man. It's all a test. But our people, they don't see it that way, man. It's just a test. Verse 5. And the children of Israel dwelt among the Canaanites, Hittites, and Amorites, and Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, and they took their daughters to be their wives, and gave their daughters to their sons, and served their powers. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, and forgat Yahawah, Ba'ashem Yahawashi, their power, and served Balaam and the groves. You see? So, they forgot it was a test, and they got comfortable, and they forgot the Lord, and they stopped serving the Lord, stopped keeping the laws, rehearsing the righteous acts, and then they went into the ways of the heathen, and they assimilated among them, made marriages among them, married their daughters and their sons. And you're not supposed to do that, man, technically. And that's why they got judged. So I'll read verse 7. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of Yahawah and forgot their power and served Balaam and the groves. Yeah. Therefore the anger of the Lord Yahawah was hot against Israel, and he sold them into the hand of the Cusherites. I don't know what. Okay, the words are kind of mingled there. Let me see here. Can't even read the full thing.
Strong's H 3573. Kushan Rish Athayim.
Okay, Kushan Rish.
Kushan Rish Athayim.
Athayim, yeah. I couldn't pronounce that.
Second entry.
Couldn't pronounce
Rish Athayim.
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce that, man. That was a tongue twister for me. King of Mesopotamia, and the children of Yahawah served this guy 8 years. So you went into captivity for being wicked, and that's what always happens, man. Same thing today, man. And our people, they still don't get it. Still don't get it. All right, so the last precept. Well, I'll say the second last precept. I have one more after this, actually. I'm going to get Genesis chapter 9, verse 19 here. Start here. It says, "These are the 3 sons of Noah, and of them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be a husbandman, and he planted a vineyard." Yeah, he planted a big vineyard to get drunk. You know why? Because he just went through an apocalypse. He survived an apocalyptic event. The whole world was flooded. And him and his family were the only ones to survive. 8 souls. I'd get drunk too. So he set up an orchard, he set up an altar, especially an altar, to give thanks unto Yahawashi, praised him. So then he planted a vineyard, so you can get drunk, probably. Verse 21, "And he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father. And their faces were backward, and they saw not their father's nakedness." Yeah, so he was being a demon, man. He's being a homo, man. He came and looked at his dad naked and started laughing at him. He said, "Hey, look, brothers, look at our dad. He's naked. Ah, ha, ha." They didn't want to look at him, Shem and Japheth. Because that's disgusting, man. You're not supposed to look at your parents' nakedness, man. You're not supposed to see your mother or your father naked. And your other relatives, too. You're not supposed to see them naked. So they did what a man was supposed to do. They manned up and then he just covered them up. Now it says here, verse 24, "And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren." That's right. Canaanites, man. Curse them Canaanites. So instead of cursing Ham, he cursed his son. He cursed Ham's son, Canaan. So he set up to be a servant. And he said, "Blessed be Yahawah, power of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant." That's right. You Canaanites. Going into you South Africans, man. You're the ancient Canaanites, according to the Bible. You're going to be servants, and that's why you're catching hell too. You went through all that regime changes in your country, through apartheids, and yeah, man, went through the whole apartheid. You're catching hell, and that hell that you're catching goes deep and really goes back to the ancient world. Anyways, with that, just want to give all praises, glory, and honor due unto Yahawah, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone of GMS that do teach well and that do real well. Taught me this truth. To you I say shalom and shalom unto the hopeful elect Kwame Ashala and above all. Shalom.